At the G20 Summit in September 2023, U.S. President Biden announced a major news: the United States, India, Saudi Arabia, and the European Union plan to jointly build a project called the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor. This project is led by the United States and India, including Saudi Arabia, Israel, and several European countries who have signed a memorandum of understanding to work together to build a new Eurasian spice route. This plan is widely regarded as an important measure to counter China's One Belt, One Road policy and aims to weaken China's influence in the region. However, the Indo-Europe Economic Corridor faces at least 4 serious challenges that could prevent the project from being successfully implemented. In today's video, we'll dive into the core purpose of this economic corridor and whether it's likely to be successfully achieved. It is understood that the Indo-European Economic Corridor is a grand infrastructure construction plan that aims to connect India and Europe and establish a new economic channel through the Middle East. This plan mainly includes 2 branches, one starting from India and extending to the United Arab Emirates, the other running through Middle East countries such as Saudi Arabia and ending in Europe. The main feature of IMEC is that it will use railway as a mode of transportation and establish a cross-border sea-to-rail combined transportation network, aiming to improve the efficiency of trade between India, Europe, and the Gulf region. U.S. President Biden has high expectations for this plan. He even said that this economic corridor will change the rules of the game. If IMEC is successfully completed, it will cover about 50% of the world's total economy and 40% of the population. However, many people believe that IMEC is actually a strategic initiative launched by the United States in response to China's One Belt, One Road initiative, with the purpose of weakening China's influence in relevant regions. If you look at it from a deeper level, IMEC is not only aiming to curb the expansion of China's economic influence. The ultimate goal of the United States seems to be to build a new world trading system that excludes China. The direct reason behind this is that the Belt and Road Plan has greatly enhanced China's economic influence in Asian, European, and African countries, forcing the United States to propose competing infrastructure construction in order to balance this influence plan. In recent years, as China's Belt and Road Initiative has developed better and better, it has also posed a certain threat to the status of the United States. In order to counter China's influence, the United States has proposed multiple plans and initiatives, including the B3W plan in 2021, last year's PGI plan, and the recent Indo-European Economic Corridor. While these plans appear ambitious on the surface, in reality they are often criticized for lacking concrete content and practical action. For the Indo-European Economic Corridor, the United States has its own urgency. In addition to political and economic competition considerations, there are also practical logistics needs. The United States intends to counter China's dominance in the global supply chain by supporting India to become the next world factory. However, the realization of this goal relies on strong and efficient infrastructure support, and IMEC is a key part of this strategy. Without such infrastructure, even India's potential to become the world's factory may be hampered by transportation and logistics constraints. However, although the United States has shown great determination in advancing IMEC, the actual progress is not optimistic. Judging from the current situation, this plan may face the risk of failure. What is going on? Although the Indo-European Economic Corridor plan proposed by the United States is grand, it faces equally huge challenges. Among them, the funding issue is the most prominent one. Historically, large-scale infrastructure construction plans in the United States have often been difficult to materialize due to funding problems. For example, the new infrastructure plan proposed by Biden in 2021 was initially expected to invest up to $2.3 trillion, but it was eventually slashed, and very few projects were actually implemented. This situation reflects the fact that the United States has execution problems in domestic infrastructure investment, let alone using American taxpayers' money to pay for infrastructure in India and the Middle East. In the IMC plan, the United States may use methods such as technical and political support to try to push participating countries to shoulder the financial burden themselves. However, countries may not be willing to participate in such a large-scale project without clear funding sources and guaranteed real benefits. In addition, infrastructure construction requires strong engineering capabilities and manufacturing bases, and countries currently participating in IMEC generally lack such capabilities. In addition to the challenges of funding and technical capabilities, IMEC also faces geopolitical complexities. Key regions in the plan include the Middle East and Eastern Europe, where countries such as Turkey and Egypt have their own aspirations and geographical advantages to become Eurasian trade hubs. Turkey is located at the junction of Europe and Asia and controls the Black Sea Passage, while Egypt controls the Suez Canal, which makes their positions in the IMEC plan delicate. These countries may have reservations about U.S. plans, especially if they are not a high priority in the plans. Europe's attitude towards this plan is equally critical. Europe has already established a mature industrial cooperation relationship with China through the One Belt, One Road initiative. It may not be easy for the United States to convince Europe to shift to supporting a new trade model centered on India. What's more, a sudden change in established cooperation patterns may not be entirely beneficial to Europe. But it is worth mentioning that if the Indo-European Economic Corridor cannot be realized, then India's dream of becoming a world power will also be shattered. What is going on? India, as the second most populous country in the world, has more than 65% of its young population, of which about 400 million people belong to the middle class or above. This huge population base has brought huge market demand to India. India's industry has developed rapidly in recent years, and many people have high hopes that it has the potential to become a new center for global manufacturing. However, India still has a lot of room for improvement in terms of market size compared to China. Currently, China's market size has exceeded $18 trillion, almost twice that of India. In order to attract more investment and seize more opportunities, the Indian government actively supports the Indo-European Economic Corridor project. The success of this project will be crucial to whether India can overtake China's position in the global economy. If this plan fails, it will be much more difficult for India to surpass China.